You know how to join the conversation is on facebook.com/journeysOnTV, on Twitter is @journeysOnTV, and on WhatsApp the number is 0266047417. Let's start with the latest report on trends of poverty and inequality in Ghana by the Ghana Statistical Service, which has revealed that 6.8 million Ghanaians are poor. Now, what do you suggest can be done to reduce or eliminate poverty in Ghana?
The first thing we could do is to eliminate corruption. By corruption, I mean we should eliminate greed, because it's greed that breeds corruption in our society. And we also need to do a lot of education, because if your illiteracy rate is quite kind of high, you're going to have a lot of people being poor because they are dependent on the literate. They can't really think for themselves. Even though they can, they are not innovative enough. So we need education. By education, I mean good quality education, not just some cheap, free education that everybody can afford, but the quality is also very important.
There is a whole lot of intellects around who are not able to exercise their intellectuality because there's not job availability. So now, create more jobs, get people to work and get paid, and at the end of the day, they'll give money back into the system will be progressing, the individuals will also be progressing. But it's just only factions of people are surviving. And at the end of the day, the system will be burdened. How many people are now paying tax? So at the end of the day, they'll find different ways to tax the average Ghanaian. The more you tax, it's like you are standing in a bucket and you are trying to raise yourself with it. It's impossible. Create more jobs for the people.
Sometimes development is only concentrated in the capital city, that is Accra. And then when you see our folks in those villages, social amenities, they don't have it. Water, electricity and stuff. They cannot even afford to even pay for electricity a month. If suppose even prepaid is extended to the villages, I'm sure the people who even afford prepaid, it will not be more. It will not be that much. So I think government have to do more.
People spend without checking their accounts in terms of their inflows. Okay, they don't check their inflows with their outflows. Someone can earn like say 1,000 cedis a month, okay, and that person may be spending more than that amount, okay, in a month, okay. With that in mind, you know that this person is heading towards poverty.
So I call this free consultancy there for government and all of us. Now let's check out what you've been posting on Facebook.
So Kwabena Boachi Yadom says we must start our own businesses than waiting for government work. Lack of vocational education is one of the major factors. I mean, everyone is looking for office work. I don't have any good education or certificate for any work, but I'm still moving forward. Peter Jabab says, please, could Ghana Statistical Service provide us with a method that they use to obtain this information? From what I know, more than 50% of Ghanaians are poor unless they can justify their findings with their definition of poverty. And Fabian Aiken says, yes, we will continue to be poor until we rise against the politicians. If every poor man can stay at home without voting, they will know the value of the poor. But because the poor man is also created, I think we should be quite courteous in our comments. Please. Bayer Jeremiah writes, we must all get back into agricultural activities. We also need to cultivate the spirit of hard work. Vocational and entrepreneurship programs should be championed. And Sarah Pierre writes, we should drastically reduce the number of children we give birth to. Some people just give birth to as many as 5 children and leave the children to fend for themselves. So that's her opinion. Interesting one there. Vitus Bikbene says, I think corruption should be reduced so that development and intervention should get to the people. Family and friends, government must also be reduced.
And James Abusanga says poverty can be eliminated if we as a nation and individuals will plan for the future generation and not leave debts for them to come and pay. Malam says whenever they are to increase tariffs, they should think about the less privileged before. And hashtag say no to politics. Masud Musa Ayarba Thomas says, please join news, just send the report to Nana Akufo-Addo and Alhaji Bawumia and ask them this question, because whatever we say here will not go anywhere, period. Nana Akufo-Addo says, stop building the National Cathedral and use the money to support the 6.8 million Ghanaians who are poor. Kinney Alfred says, lack of unity, lack of vocational education, lack of market for made in Ghana goods. Those are some comments on Facebook. Quite a number of the comments are also on WhatsApp. And Sir Obama in Pokwasa says, let's educate the masses, courtesy the free SHS that will enable the populace to be on their own to create innovative jobs. This one from Bansi from Nadoli says, Africa will be rich if all our currencies are fixed to the US dollar and other information currencies. And this one says, we're poor because of high level of corruption in the country. You didn't add your name. This one is still typing, okay. And Nana Yao from Kumasi says, please, okay, so he's talking about a different issue altogether. He says, FATS says Ghana needs decentralization system and make sure we have a policy which the government will call and ask questions when some people's accounts are becoming fat. And this one says intensive education on family planning. Quite a number of your messages are coming in, and let me check out this one. He says, well done, Joy News. Please, if petrol prices will be going up like this, let's wait and see 2020. Why? What have we Ghanaians done to Mr. President? And it's coming from Gabriel from Fantiakwa. And let me pick my last one from IK from Bwipe. He says, selfish leaders are the major cause of poverty in Ghana. Those are some interesting comments on WhatsApp. Now, minority MPs are calling on government to remove the 10% special petroleum tax on the products to reduce the prices of fuel. According to the minority MPs, the special petroleum tax has outlived its purpose. Do you think it's a genuine call or politics at play?
By 15th of October, we'll start going to the various regions, the various districts, to educate them to know the reason why we are calling for the special petroleum tax to be removed. Currently, it's about 46 pesos per liter. And if it's about 5 liters a gallon, you are talking about 2 cedis, 2 pesos. If you calculate it, and if you take it off or calculate it at
All right, so let's check out your comments on Facebook.
Okay, Benefit Kojo Chameleon writes, you see this NDC and MPP MPs, eh? When this is at the opposition, they playing the wise and good one. They are not serious. They are not serious at all. I suppose that's what he's trying to say. Sharif Nimbang says, you don't need to have a diviner to lead you to understand and appreciate the veracity and genuineness of the call made by the minority. If the said tax was implemented to purposely reduce fuel prices, which is on a routine rise as Ghanaians experience today, clearly its implementation leaves a lot to be desired. And Ernest Gadese says, who cares if it's politics? All I know is that things are not easy at all. My salary isn't enough to meet my basic needs, so anything that will ameliorate the hardship is welcome. And Moses Jima says, it's time. The Ghanaians have to be wise enough and stop allowing these two parties to fool them. And Ibn Hassan writes, these people are always the best when they are in opposition.
And okay, so let's check out your comments on Facebook, on WhatsApp as well. And this one says, this government will kill us. Oh, you didn't add your name. Please kindly add your name. and where you're sending it from. And Sir Obama from Pokwasi says, I commiserate with the ordinary man on the street and will not seek to justify the hikes in petroleum products except to plead with government to take a second look at the deregulation formula and, if possible, scrap some more taxes on the product to relieve consumers of their current predicament. This one, Amwa Philip from Techiman says, politicians will continue to be politicians. They are always good at opposition. And Baba sent in this one. He says, politicians, we just the watch. Only God is our helper. This one is coming from Iliaso from Upper West. He's talking about poverty. So poverty in Ghana is as a result of bad leaders. May Almighty Allah save us. And this one from Godway, he says, limit the number of child. Okay, he's still talking about the first issue. This one is coming from Robert from Winneba. He says, fuel prices are just going too high. Something needs to be done. 2020 is nowhere. And finally says, this is not politics, it is the truth. Or Aisha, what do you think? Okay, he's also asking me same question. Let's start.